Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the What Should I Believe event, which is a series actually. It's not just a one-time thing. We're going to do this at least once a semester. My name is Ahmad. For those who don't know me, for those who do know me, welcome and thank you for coming. As well as this lecture, it will be also recorded and uploaded online. So if you want to see something that I said or analyze something I said, see if it was true or not, you'll be more than free to do that. It will be on my YouTube channel, and I provide the link at the end of the lecture. Also, once you like it, you can share and post on your social media links. So before we get started, I want to give a special hand to Mr. Len Daniels for sponsoring this event and being very open to it. Okay, so now we're gonna start. So in this, while I'm giving the lecture, you're gonna see me going through ups and downs. Sometimes I'm gonna be laughing, sometimes I'm gonna be serious, sometimes I'll do this. So bear with me. Now we're gonna start off a little serious. So I want everyone to think to themselves. I want everyone to disassociate themselves from everything. Meaning, I don't have no parents, I don't have no brother, I don't have no school. It's just you. No LaSalle, no mom, no dad, just you. So what's the first question going to come to you is, where am I? Where did I come from? Why am I here? Questions like this. So let's look at this question. Where did I come from? What should I believe? Questions like these. So imagine yourself in a desert. And you're going to look for some answers. You're going to be asking some questions. So where did I come from? Where did someone else come from? Where did this universe come from? Where did everything come from? There's 4 possibilities. After we review these 4 possibilities, we're going to get into the hard facts and stuff like that from philosophers, from scientists, from everything like that. The first explanation, we came from nothing, which is a lot of opinions of many people. It just happened. I don't know. From nothing. Nothing created us. We don't have a purpose. We're just here. So let's look at we came from nothing and see how this just falls down. The first is, say we're still in the desert and I'm walking in the desert and I stop and I was like, whoa, what's that shiny thing over there? So I go towards it and I see this brand new iPhone 6s, Force Touch, Touch ID, all these things. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this came, I don't know, just happened to pop up, I guess. That's illogical, actually. Because something with that intelligence, something with that material, does not come out of nothing. There's no way possible that something of that advancement can come just out of nowhere. Same thing towards this universe, to ourselves. We are too advanced. There's too much miracles that we see that this can just come out of nothing. And I'll explain why this just can't come out of nothing. The second, to break this down, is imagine a row of dominoes right here. They're standing up. So all they need is someone just to push them. And then they're going to start falling one by one. However, if you don't push them, you don't have that force to push them, nothing's going to happen. The same way you can't say, oh yeah, the dominoes just fell. Nothing touched it. No wind. Nothing happened. It just fell by itself. Again, illogical. We are using our minds. We're using science. We're using just our basic understanding of things. This cannot happen. And why can't this happen? Some people are like, it's not impossible. Like, it can happen. Like, this is a probability to happen. Yes, there is. It's probable to happen. However, before we talk about the probability of the universe coming from nothing, what are the chances of that? I want to introduce you to something which is called the infinite monkey theorem. Is anyone familiar with this? Okay, that's good. So what the infinite monkey theorem is a group of scientists. They were curious. They wanted to see if we put a monkey on a keyboard, how many tries would it take him to type a Shakespeare sonnet, meaning to be or not to be, or these other quotes? How long would it take him? And is it impossible? If you're really looking at it, it's not impossible for him to do it. However, let's look at the chances of that happening. And obviously the scientists didn't get real monkeys and made them type. This is all through computer simulation. So before we talk about the numbers of this monkey typing to be or not to be, let's talk about the probability of this universe coming from nothing. The number is quite amazingly large. So much so that the Oxford University professor, Roger Penrose, who probably none of you know, but he's someone that of high standard, someone of Oxford University, which is known for their professors and their knowledge and everything like that. So he says if you were to take the probability of the universe coming from nothing and write it in a number, this number would be, and I'm gonna write it down just so you guys can understand, it would be 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 23. 123 actually. The power here so you guys can understand. So it's 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 123. That number is so large that it is impossible to write. Dr. Rogers actually continues and says that if you were to represent each zero in this number with a particle in this universe, there would not be enough particles to represent that number. And that's the probability of the universe coming from nothing. That amazing number. And it is more likely for the monkey to sit down and put where does art thou goeth, whatever the Shakespeare thing is, it's more likely for him to write that in one try, just throwing his hands on the keyboard, than the universe coming from nothing. So we went through, can the universe come from nothing? Obviously, clearly, yes, it's possible. But look, 1 in 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 123. If you guys want to research this, it's called the infinite monkey theorem. And this is famous. You just put the probability of the universe coming from nothing, you find millions and millions of sources. Okay, so what's the second? What is the second reason we came into living? Us or the universe or whatever it is. The second is what? We created ourselves. This is something that some philosophers say, that we just created ourselves, not us or not our universe came from another, created itself, basically. So if you look at this, did our universe create itself? This is impossible. Why? Can your mother give birth to herself? I know it's a disturbing thing, a disturbing image, but it's impossible because that means that you're in existence and you're not existence at the same time. So this one doesn't even need that much scientific numbers or mathematical numbers. It's just very simple. You can't be inexistent and not in existence at the same time. So we go to the third. What is the third? The third is that we came from something that was also created. Dr. Lawrence Krauss says that our universe came from another universe. So if we look at this, because obviously our universe has a beginning. And that beginning, since it has a beginning, it has to have a cause. Everything that has a beginning has a cause. Remember that. And this is supported by, like I said, many philosophers and many scientists, so it's nothing that can be debated. Anything that has a beginning has a cause. Okay, so if we say that this universe had a beginning, therefore it came from something, that means, okay, if the universe is making something else, meaning like it's coming out of it, that means that also had a beginning, thus having also a cause. So you're going to say this universe came from this universe. Okay, where did that universe come from? Oh yeah, that one came from another universe. Okay, how about that one? Oh no, that one came from another universe too. At first, you might seem, okay, that does seem logical. However, if you really look at it, that's also impossible and irrational. Why? Because you're going to have this never-ending chain of this created this. Something called infinite regression. That's the proper term. Infinite regression is you have a never-ending set of causes. So, for example, I use this example a lot. Imagine you're in the army and you were going to shoot somebody. And before I can shoot, I was like, oh yeah, I have to ask my boss behind me. And the boss behind me says, oh no, I have to ask the boss behind me. And the boss behind him says, oh, you have to ask the boss behind him. And it keeps going and going and going. The soldier will never be able to shoot because he'll never get a definitive answer to say, yes, shoot. The same way the universe comes. A common question we were asked when we were kids, what came first, the egg or the chicken? No one can ever answer that question. Oh yeah, the egg came first because, that's where the chicken comes from. But wait, the egg comes from the chicken. Oh wait, no, but the chicken comes from the egg. Same exact way. So, what's the fourth and the only possible way is something that didn't have a beginning, meaning that it's uncreated. That's the thing that made the universe or made us or whatever it is. So let's talk about the proofs and evidence that go to support this. So what is this uncreated thing or uncreated being or this uncreated whatever it is? It has to fit a certain set of guidelines so it can be this uncreated thing. The first is, it has to have something with no beginning and no end as well. Meaning it has to have what? It has to have the eternal. Another thing is, it has to be wise. Dr. Richard Dawkins says in his book, The God Delusion, he says that our universe did come from an uncreated thing. However, that uncreated thing is just a universe that had no beginning. That cannot be the case, because in order for this uncreated thing, this uncreated being, to be that uncreated being, it has to be all wise, all knowing, and intelligent. Why do I say this? Imagine if I was to grab this marker, and I'm gonna demonstrate it. Imagine I was to throw it at the wall, and say, okay, I lost the marker. Say if when I threw it, it spelled my name, Ahmad Hammoudeh, right away. It's a long, very long name, so it's illogical. Or even if I was just to write a one-letter word, you'd be like, whoa, that's amazing. That can't just happen by me throwing it. It needs me actually to go there and write it out and stuff like that. So how does this have to do with what I'm arguing? Does anyone here a biology major or studies biology? Okay, how many unique characters or unique letters are in the human DNA?
You mean like chromosomes?
Yeah.
There's 36 chromosomes in each person.
Okay, but if you were to look at the letters, actually, like the unique, like I guess it's chromosomes, but the actual letters.
Like the uracil and cytosine.
I guess something. I don't know the exact terms, but this is the characters. Well, it's estimated, and this is, like I said, I have the sources for this. 3.5 billion unique characters in every single one of us. Why am I bringing this forth? So say if the universe did just come out of nowhere, someone just, a universe with no intelligence, no wisdom, anything, just put it together. How can you explain the 3 billion letters that were all unique and all special for everyone, rather than my 15-letter name that I just threw on the wall? Doesn't make sense. Also, why do I say this? Because the Earth is in a specific position on this galaxy, or whatever, our known universe, limited. It's at a certain place that it's so far away from the sun we don't burn. I mean, so far away that we don't burn, yes, and so close that we don't freeze. So you're telling me that it just happened that this unintelligent, no wisdom behind this universe that created us, whatever it is, just, oh yeah, just happened to uniquely just fall in the right place? We're using our brains now. That doesn't seem logical. And we talked about, this number of how it just coming to chance. Things don't just come to chance. With probabilities up to this number, it's illogical to think that would ever happen. Okay, another criteria for this, since we said it can't be, like Richard Dawkins says in his book, The God Delusion, that it can't just be a universe that created us that had no beginning. It has to be something with wise. Also, this being, this whatever it is, has to be one. Can't have any partners. Because if there was partners, or it was two uncreated beings or everything like that, how can both of them be the most wise? How can both of them be the all-knowing? How can both of them be at the top? Doesn't make sense. Even me and you today, when we have little group projects or little assignments to do, we can't agree with one another. How do you expect these beings who created the whole universe, and me and you and these type of things, to also agree on every single point? Again, this has to be something for this uncreated being. It can't be multiple, it only can be one. Also, it has to be separate from the creation, from the galaxy, from the universe, from me and you. It can't be bound by the laws that it was created. What do I mean by this? Who created the iPhone? Who's the? Steve Jobs created it. When Steve Jobs created the iPhone, did he become the iPhone, or was he part of the iPhone? No, he wasn't. It was just his creation, so he's outside of it. Not too long ago, there was like this bug going on where you send someone this certain text message and their phone will shut off. If Steve Jobs was still alive, he's like, oh yeah, let me just go inside the iPhone and screw this and screw that and it'll be fixed. No, that's impossible. You cannot literally be in your creation if you are the creator. That's another thing. It has to be outside of its creation. Cannot be bound by it. So now that we came to the conclusion that is an uncreated being, we didn't say what it was, it just has to be uncreated, has to be one, has to be all wise, has to have everything belong to him, as John Locke says in his book. So going back, before we continue throughout, what does science and philosophy have to say about the aspect of this uncreated being, or whatever you want to call it? What does philosophy and science have to say about it? Do they contradict it? Do they disagree with it? Do they argue it? Or do they support it? if I was to tell you that the belief in an uncreated being, or almighty God, or whatever it is actually a natural basic belief. A basic belief is something in philosophy and science that does not need any information transfer, meaning what? That does not need to be proven for it to be right or not. One of the things that's another basic belief is that you guys are in front of me today. A basic belief, you guys cannot, if anyone can prove to me that they exist, then we can, shut the doors and leave out here. Can anyone prove to me that they exist? Even one of the philosophers, which I read in my philosophy class that went to this perfectly, Rene Descartes, he says, I think, therefore I am. So I can guarantee my existence. However, I cannot guarantee anyone else's existence. This is also something that's backed up by science and philosophy. God is also, or this uncreated being, is also a basic belief. And John Locke says, if we perceive that our own existence so plainly and so certainly that it neither needs nor is capable of any proof. To simplify this down, since philosophers, they throw in words or they have a way with words that we can't understand sometimes, he's saying that me and you, we take our existence and others' existence so clearly and so certain without a doubt. Like, I know that you guys are in front of me today. However, it neither needs nor is capable, nor can it provide any evidence. However, I still believe it. That's a basic belief. What is another basic belief? That the universe is more than just 5 minutes old. Some people say that if the universe, this wasn't a basic belief, that we can just be created 5 minutes ago and just have memory installed into us that we had of these past coming years. That's also a basic belief, that the universe was not created 5 minutes ago. That's another basic belief. So God, or this uncreated being, whatever you want to call it, is also a basic belief that doesn't require nor can provide physical proof. Actually, another doctor and academic and researcher at Oxford University, her name is Dr. Olivia Petrovich. She actually conducted the study, and she said that if we were to put children at birth on a stranded island and make them have no outside connection, no outside interference, they would naturally establish a belief in an all-powerful being. This is someone who's a doctor, who studies philosophy, who studies science. He says that we did research that it says naturally, no one came to them, no book was presented to them. Naturally, they began to believe in an all-supreme being. Naturally. So that's also another proof that the belief in this almighty thing is also natural. That doesn't need nor is capable of any physical evidence, any physical proof. Also, science does not contradict anything of what I'm saying, because science is based on induction. What is induction? Induction is coming to a conclusion based on the present evidences I have. Say, for example, me and Lynn decide, we're going to drop out of college, we're going to leave LaSalle and we're going to become farmers. So we go to this country and we start buying sheep. So we buy 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep, 4 sheep, 5 sheep, 6 sheep. We buy 1,000 sheep. Every single one is white. So therefore, me and Lynn, we're like, oh yeah, all sheep are white. So next time we go buy more sheep, the guy was like, okay, here's the next one. It came out to be a black sheep. Like, whoa, I thought there's only 1 sheep. There's only 1 white one. No, because it was based on induction. We came to a conclusion just on the evidences that we had forth, the 1,000 sheep. However, when we went to go buy the black sheep, it destroyed our entire experiment, our entire conclusion. That's what science is based on. Science is based on induction. Science never gives you absolutes. It just says here, this is the best explanation we can give you guys for now. And we have many times in science and many times in history where we've seen this actually came to truth. One time when people thought the earth was flat, when they thought that the earth was the center of the universe. There's many things that science said that turned out later on with knowledge to come deny that. Also, the silly argument, which I myself feel insulted saying this, since it's not up there with the things that we were discussing, up to the intelligence and the facts. However, it's something that some people do say and some people think that do believe. They'll say this phrase, why should I believe it if I can't see it? Now this also does not make any sense. If I were to ask you, did you see or do you have any proof or any documents of your great 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 grandmother? None of us here can say yes. However, we automatically believe this because this is the only way we can come to existence. I have to believe this in order for me to be alive. So that's what science tells us. Now, also another thing to go hand in hand with this thing, I don't see it, so I don't believe it. Did any one of you see or have legitimate document that says 100,000% you've seen with your own eyes your mother giving birth to you? No. It's all based on testimony. Oh yeah, this document says, this birth certificate says, or this video says. However, that could have been replaced when you were a baby. You could have been replaced with someone else's. That does not have any physical proof, anything that I can see. However, I still believe it because obviously I believe it. Going back to what John Locke says, and he says many powerful things on this topic, which you guys can later on search up yourselves. He says very clearly, he says there is an eternal, most powerful, and most knowing being.
Who said that?
John Locke. And if you want the source, I'll give it to you. Page number and everything. In the words of Aristotle, if anyone didn't know who John Locke was, definitely you guys know who Aristotle is, someone that we've been hearing his name for a long, long time. He says, and I quote, "There must clearly be something, some being, someone that causes things that move themselves and causes things not to move." This is clearly referring to an uncreated being. There has to be something controlling what's going on. It can't just be up to chance. So now that we know that there is, based on science, based on logic, based on math, based on philosophy, that there is this uncreated being, that it's one, that it's eternal, that it has no partners, that everything belongs to that uncreated being. Now the question is, okay, who is that? What is that? Is it Zeus? Is it Jesus? Is it these other gods? Who is it? This person is claiming this is that uncreated being. This person is claiming this. Which one should I believe? If you guys remember all the criteria and guidelines that we went through and everything that we said, there is only one that fits every single criteria, every single guideline. It is Allah. What is Allah? Who is Allah? Allah, if you look at it linguistically, means the one. Allah is the Almighty Creator. It's not a person, it's not a figure, it's not a man, it's not a statue, it's not an animal. It's the one that created everything. That's what Allah is. And we said that it has to be eternal, it has to be one, it has to be nothing like it. So does Allah fit that criteria? It says, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Say, Allah is one. Check, He is one. Allahu Samad. Allah, the eternal, the one without no beginning, no end. We said it has to have no beginning, no end. It has to be forever. It cannot be something that dies and lives and stuff like that. It has to be forever, eternal. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. It neither begets nor is begotten, meaning that it doesn't create something else that becomes a part of him or anything like that, nor does he have a father or a mother or whatever it is. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is nothing like him. What did we say? We said in order for this uncreated being to be this uncreated being, it cannot have anything similar to it. It cannot be bound by its creation. It cannot be inside of its creation. And we use this example with the example of Steve Jobs. So before I open the thing for discussion or argument or debate or discussion, whatever you want to call it, just to recap everything we said so we can have a fresh thing in your mind, we cannot come from nothing. And even the philosophers who call themselves atheists or whatever they call themselves, they believe that there was once something that was uncreated that came into being. However, they believe it was just a regular universe that had no beginning, no end. However, we said that cannot be logical because what? It has to be intelligent. It has to be wise. It has to know what it's doing. It can't just randomly throw something. We said we cannot come into nothing because of what? The probability of the universe being one to the 1 out of, like it only can happen 1 out of 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 123. If you were to grab every single particle in the entire universe and represent that particle with a 0, it would not be enough particles. This cannot happen. And we said it is more logical for me to believe that this monkey has a better chance of rising to be or not to be than this universe comes to existence by itself. One chance out of this humongous, unimaginable, impossible to write number. That's what happens. Also, he said it cannot be created, it cannot be something that it creates and it becomes bound to it, because we went through these arguments. Now, before I let you guys talk and argue and everything like that, if you have anything that you want me to re-explain or retouch, please let me know. And I'll open the floor for questions or arguments or anything now. Yeah.
Can you repeat the scenario you gave with the kid in the room? You said if a kid is drunk, nothing in the room. You know what I'm talking about? They'll admit that there's a high thing.
Oh yeah, Dr. Olivia Petrovich from Oxford University. She conducted a survey, a research with her and her fellow peers. She said that if we were to grab a group of kids at age of birth and throw them on an island and leave them without any interference, any communication, without anything, they would naturally come to the belief of a supreme being. Without any interference, without any book, without any YouTube videos, without anything of that. Naturally, they will come with a belief in a supreme being.
An island with nothing on it.
Nothing on it.
Does that say something more about the human mind, or does that say that there is?
It's both, because actually if you're going by what we said that Allah is God, he says that in every single human being there's something called al-fitra. What is al-fitra? The natural disposition that every single one of you has, which is a belief in God. However, you become deluded or led astray from this path by the things that you learn, by the things that your parents tell you, by these type of things. And like I said before, the belief in God is something that's natural. That's something that's called a basic belief, which needs no evidence, nothing to transfer. Another thing is, like I said before, if anyone can prove to me that they exist, then we can lock up, I'll tear up the flyers and everything like that. You cannot do it. This is a basic belief that me and you, yes, we do believe. However, as John Locke says, it's neither needs nor is capable of providing any proof. Hope that answers the question. If anyone else has anything else to say. Yes.
So they conducted that experiment, like they put babies on the island.
The exact experiment, if you want to know the exact details of it, I'm not going to tell you. I want you to research. The purpose of me giving this speech or giving this lecture or putting this all together is not for me to say, here's the evidence, believe. No, it's to plant a seed in your head and you go on by yourself and you do all the research. Check up on what I said. How do you know I wasn't lying? I was just not throwing up names. I want you to actually check everything I said. And like I said before, you can either ask me right now what I said, summarize it again, or you can watch the full video on YouTube when it's uploaded.
So in that same experiment that they were talking about, did they think that they were gonna survive by themselves? Like, they were talking about kids, right?
Yeah.
So how were they gonna survive? Like, did they think they were gonna rely on their instincts to find food and stuff like that so they would survive?
That's like the actual situation, like how would they live and how would they feed themselves? I don't know how the exact research goes. I'm just saying I'm quoting it.
Yep.
And like I said before, you could check up on it. Like you probably find something that I didn't say in it, something that's amazing as well. So check up on it. Her name is Dr. Olivia Petrovich from Oxford University. You can see what happens. Any other questions on something besides the one proof out of the many I gave?
Can you repeat the part about the logic? You said, I think, therefore something.
Yeah, the philosopher Rene Descartes, he says in his book, I think, therefore I am. Meaning that he can prove his own existence. And even John Locke says we can prove our own existence. However, I cannot prove any single one of you, neither can you provide any evidence that can prove that you exist. So therefore, since we accept and 100% say that I exist and you exist and these type of things, then we cannot deny God, because he also falls in the basic belief that does not need nor is capable of providing any physical proof. Same thing, I led the example, the same thing that goes hand with this. How do we know? Can we provide any evidence that the universe was not created 5 minutes ago and each one of us was, instilled memory in our brains, and then that's why we have flashbacks and memories and stuff like that? We cannot.
It does not provide any proof because it doesn't have to, or it doesn't provide any proof because it's the supreme, like, there's no way to provide proof.
There's proof through things like this. However, some people think if I want to believe in this, which is quite contradictory if you're looking at the things they believe. If I want to believe this, I have to see it with my eyes. I have to see the proof. I have to see God. I have to see this all-powerful being. I have to see it with my eyes. I said this is even contradictory because if you look at what these people believe, they say that, yeah, we came from apes. We came from this. We came from that. Evolution. However, no one any one of you here or any person in science can show physical proof with my own eyes the change of species. Meaning what? The change from monkey to human. The change from this to that. Not like Darwin says in his book, oh, I went to this island and I seen this bird and it's the beak, was curved after a while. No, that's not called evolution. That's called adaptation, meaning that it adapts to the conditions around them. It doesn't mean it's evolving to a whole new creature, which some people are saying that's where we came from. We came from a whole different species and we turned from that. However, there is no physical proof where I can see, oh yeah, this scientist sat down and he was with a monkey and then 90 years later turned to this.
When it's scientific proof enough though, isn't that enough to prove it?
I said there's science proof of God and there's science proof of this evolution. However, this evolution, why they believe in God? Because they can't see the proof with themselves. However, you can't see the proof of the evolution. You cannot literally see the proof of evolution. And no one can deny that because there's no scientist, no paper that says that.
What about fossils?
That's why it's a theory though, because it hasn't been proven.
Exactly, it's a theory.
For all sciences.
Exactly, that's why we can't rely 100% on science. I said it's based on induction. The science said if we were alive 200 years ago, we would have been like, yeah, science says the earth is flat. Yes.
But at the same time, I understand why they wouldn't be able to prove though, because evolution didn't just take 1 year or two. It was thousands of years, and maybe even more than that. So that's why I understand.
Exactly, but if you're saying I don't believe in this almighty being because I can't see it, but you're believing in evolution that you didn't see. So what's the difference? What's the difference of me believing in almighty being or almighty God and you believing in evolution? It's both on faith. It's both on belief. You didn't see the evidence yourself. Neither did the scientists prove evidence to you. So what's the difference of me believing in this and you believing in that? You're saying it's unscientific, irrational, illogical to believe in this unlogical and this uncreated being. However, I provided many evidences, many proofs, and the scientists just say, oh yeah, you just have to, I don't know, if you want to wait 1,000,000 years, then you can see the proof. Then what's the difference between these two things? Like I said before, evolution is not a basic belief. Evolution is not the one that's 100% backed up by science. However, God is. It's based on a basic belief. I said the basic belief is what? Something that we believe that does not need any information transfer. Like the universe not being created 5 minutes ago. Like you existing in front of me. And like the Almighty God.
So where would Allah fall in,
Yeah. Because remember all those evidences and all those proof and all those guidelines? Name me one other figure or other being that meets those criteria. That neither has a beginning, neither has an end, is one, is not bound by his creation, meaning he's not in it, he's superior to it. And another thing I said, which is he is all wise, all knowing, and all powerful. God himself. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Allah is not a person or a figure or a man or a statue. It's Almighty God. That's who it is. Like if you were going to look at, like say for example, you don't want to use the word Allah. You want to use the English word. Almighty God. You want to use the word that's used in the Bible or some other thing. Or the Torah, the Old Testament. The Father, the same thing. Or it's just a name that we attribute to it. That's what I'm trying to say. Now I said like the Father. I didn't say Jesus. Just to make that clear. Because we can't be bound by its creation. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus or anything like that. But this is what this is for. To go back and forth. Argue. Discuss. I believe this. And so far, I have the evidence backing me up. Where's your evidence?
Evidence to what?
Evidence to whatever you believe in.
In my religion class, we're talking about religion being more social. So you're saying that religion is more of a natural belief that even if we're on an island by ourselves, we're still gonna believe that there's something else.
Yeah.
But then other philosophers, like I think it's Durkheim, I think is his last name, something like that. He was saying that religion is more social. That it's like people, I don't know, they start talking and then they start telling each other, and it's just like a social thing. It's not just like an individual person believing that there's something else. What do you think about
Yeah.
that?
I quoted many philosophers, and I did like that, and I'm supporting them what they say. However, I'm not going by one philosopher and that's it. Why? Because every single philosopher contradicts another single philosopher in every single aspect. Maybe they might agree on one topic or two topic, but you might say, John Locke says, oh, I disagree with this guy because he said this, because this is the logical proof. So you can never base yourself on one philosopher. Yes, you can go by what they say and stuff like that. However, you not become bound by them. You don't become bound by anybody's individually. You come on the evidence, the proofs and stuff like that. So what do I think about religion being social? Yes, I can believe that there's something. Okay, but I believe. Now what should I do? That's where religion and this type of things come in. I believe in a God. Okay, this is just by saying I believe. Is that enough? Is there anything else I have to do? And we'll talk about these type of things. I hope, like, if we can discuss them now, but like the full thing of, okay, we know there's a God. We know a little bit about what this God is. What do we do? What are there books that I can go by? Is there a manual? Is there something that I can go by in order to obey or worship or whatever it is to this God? That's what I hope to talk about in future meetings. However, if you guys like have quick questions, I can answer them, no problem.
Do you think believing in God is logical? Is that
Yes, I belief in God is logical because one, we said we can't come from nothing. I can't come from something. I can't create myself. The universe can't just create itself. It can't come from something that was also created, as some people say that our universe came from another universe and that universe came from another universe, because we fall into the trouble of what? Infinite regression. And then I said, okay, so the only logical thing is, I created from something that's uncreated. Okay, so what is this uncreated thing? And we went into that. And then let me just ask her a question and see if it's related, and then we'll answer. Yeah, go.
But why do you need to follow like a rule or a manual? Like you're here,
Perfect.
and that's it.
I like that question a lot. Say I created something today that no one ever seen in their entire lives, and I give it to you and I say, okay, use it. Are you gonna know how to use it? You're gonna need what to use it? An instruction manual, something to tell you how to live that. How am I supposed to know how to live my life? How am I supposed to know the purpose of me being created if I don't have this manual telling me to do this? And what is this? It's worship, obey, and do good actions. It's not something alien that no one else does. It's things that we have to do. We have to act nice to other people. We have to do good deeds. We have to, like we said, believe and obey by the laws of this one creator or whatever you want to call it. That's why I have to do it, because if I don't have to do that, how am I supposed to know how I live my life? Same way, if I made this new creation, you're not going to know how to use it because there's no book behind it. There's no manual. There's nothing behind it. That's why. And going back to what he says, like you said, is believing in God natural, logical. And if you're looking at the things that you guys sat here for, what is it, half an hour now? What did I say wrong? Maybe I did say wrong. Point out what I said wrong, or yeah.
The one question I have is you're saying that it's logical, but if you really do use logic, not to be disrespectful, but you said what's the difference between us believing in evolution and God if we've never seen a physical proof? The thing with that is science is occurring. Science is always going on. And what people of religion use to validate as a book that came from thousands of years ago. So if you think about it, wouldn't that be in itself?
Okay. If this book that came thousands of years ago told you things that science proved 50, 100 years ago without anybody who's scientist, would you believe in that book and believe in what it says?
What else does it say?
What else does it say? This book tells you that in one of the chapters in the Quran, which I'm quoting now, it says, we have sent down iron. It doesn't say we have created iron. What does that mean? Is that the same thing? No, it's not the same thing. If you go by what science tells you, it tells you that iron was not a part of the original earth. It came down, it was sent down by a meteor or whatever it is, and then it became inside the earth. We have sent down, and this came 1400 years ago. No science. Another thing is, yes, it has scientific proof, which I have many things to quote. For example, how it says that the sun is its own light, and the moon it's a reflected light of the sun. This came 1400 years ago. We used to believe that the sun is its own light, the moon is its own light. Other religious scriptures used to say that the sun is its own light, the moon is its own light. However, there's this one book that says the sun is its own light, and the moon is just a reflected light. Why is that happening? Also, this book also says, which we proved not too long ago, that the sun is also in orbit to another star. This is when people used to think that the sun was stationary. That's not what we find now, and that's not what the book says. And it's just something that people said, "Oh yeah, look, it's a scientific error. The sun doesn't move." However, now we're coming to the conclusion that it does move. It's revolving on something else. It's making an orbit on something else. Other than science, you have mathematical truths. You have linguistic truths. Things that cannot be matched. Right now, this book that I'm quoting is written in Arabic, something that I speak. Some people don't speak. However, that doesn't mean you cannot understand it. If you were to look and exhaust every single letter of the Arabic language, there is no way possible you can come with 3 words that have 11 rhetorical devices, meaning metaphors, onomatopoeia, other things like these type of things you can do with the actual sentence. And this book has 10 words that have 40 rhetorical devices. Other people, such as Eminem, he says in his song, uses 2 rhetorical devices in 10 words. If you were to go to any Arabic poet or any Arabic person that knows how to use language, there's no way they can put 10 words and use 40 rhetorical devices in those 10 words. It's impossible. So saying that this does not come from someone who, at the time, that the person that this was revealed to did not even know how to read and write. Yeah, he was coming down with things that were amazing to the people. That's why I can say that this is logical for you to believe. Because the science, even though it wasn't there at the time, it was saying things that science couldn't prove at the time. It was proven 1,400 years later. So I'm saying some of the things that we can't see 100% now, 1,400 years from now, we might be like, oh, snap, look, they were right again.
So what about things that all books do that we know now that's not right?
Exactly. This is not like any other book. This is called the Quran, which is the noble word of God revealed to a man. And we're not going to get into who this man is, but we're going to talk about him later on. And we look at the other religious books that claim they are the word of God. Yes, they were a word of God. However, they were changed and altered and this and that throughout the years. There's scientific and historical proof to back this up. That the Bible and the Old Testament was all changed. And you'll find contradictions. How can the word of God, the all-knowing, the all-wise, the all-intelligent, have obvious scientific contradictions in it? Have things that are not supposed to be in there? For example, I'm not even going to go into other, whatever that is. I'm not even going to get into that. What does it say and why is that wrong or whatever it is. However, I'm not saying that they were always false. I'm saying, yes, I believed in them when they were the word of God. However, you're telling me that this man and that man, and this man was inspired by God, and then 500 years later, this guy was inspired by God, and they were all writing, and each one changing what the other said. So I can't believe that. I have to believe in something that has not been changed, something that meets the guidelines of it being the manual, and I have to believe in, okay, what is that God, and how does that make a difference in my life, and how can I prove that? Like I said before, like there's no, like I'm not going to say, okay, you want to believe in God? Here he is. And then here it is. It's not that easy. And let's be honest, I'm not even going to go into that end. I'm just going to go to the next question, and where that leads us, yes.
The point I was trying to raise with that question is, if you're saying that this book was right, and we proving it to be right, what about the things that right now we know will be right?
What things? Like what?
I'm not going to be specific, but we know all the books have things in there that if we write them out right now, we'd be like, whoa,
What?
like slavery. I know all books have slavery.
Okay.
You know, right
So the
now,
reason of slavery being in those books is because it's had something. It was at the time where there was slavery. So how can I say that this book is complete and this book has an answer for everything when it's saying there's slaves? Okay, what do we do with these slaves? What do we do with these people and that people? It's not condoning it. It's not saying you have to have a slave. It's saying that if there's a slave, these are the rights and these are the regulations of these slaves. And now we have obviously no legally slaves, so it's illegal anyway, so it doesn't even fall into that category. So we don't even have to worry about those things like slaves and stuff like that. Anything else that you want to pull out that says, okay, how can I believe in that if it says that? I'll explain to you why does it say that, and how is it not wrong for it to say that. Like there's an answer for it. However, you have to do your effort to find that answer. It's not just going to come to you. You're not going to understand everything from this first day. Imagine, for example, you were in kindergarten, you told your mom, I want to be a doctor. Okay, you don't have to go to first grade, second grade, third grade, high school, college. You just go straight to med school. Are you going to understand anything that's in front of you? No, it's a step that you have to take. Same way with religion. Same way with the belief in God. Same way to obey this God. There's certain steps. You start off. Once you increase in knowledge, you're going to understand some certain things. You're not going to understand anything from the first day. You have to take the first step. Once you take your first step, you learn, you understand, you acknowledge, you move on to the second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step. It's not an easy task. It's not meant to be an easy task. However, it's something that we have to strive and find ourselves. And I'm not telling you, like, again, believe in what I say. This is just something I have presented forward. Do your research. Do your own whatever sources or videos or whatever you want to do. And if you have any things that contradict anything I said or anything that proves me wrong, please bring it forward to me so I can believe it. At the end of the day, I'm someone who's seeking the truth too. If I find out that what I believe is clearly wrong, then why should I believe it? That's why the book that I follow, or the God that I follow, which is the book and the God, and I'm not saying, again, it's not a person or a figure or something like that. It's the only possibility. It says, and if it's wrong, then why should I believe it? Also, some people might say, okay, if you can't prove it, I don't know. I'm not convinced today. There's no point of me believing in a God, and there's no point of me being this or that. I want to ask you a question. Say if, you know what, we found out, me and you died and time passed, and whatever. We found out that everything I said today was false, and we were, you know, just gonna rot in the floor. There was no God, there was no afterlife, there was no this, there was no that. Everything was all a lie. Am I gonna lose anything? No, I'm not gonna lose anything. It's, for example, say if me and Lynn want to make travel to Hiroshima 2 years after the atomic bomb. And someone came up to us and said, oh, you guys have to stop. You guys have to go with suits, with masks, with something, so you guys don't be toxic, not exposed to the toxic things and the chemicals and the acids and stuff like that. And me and Lynn were like, you know what? Forget this guy. We're just gonna go without any suits. And we go to Hiroshima and we die from chemicals and stuff like that. However, if we took the suits just in case there was something going on there, we get there, there is chemicals, that's it, we're protected, we're safe, we're ready. However, if we didn't come with it, we're gonna die, obviously. So it's a win-win and a lose-lose. Because say if everything I said was false and everything that I said was completely wrong, I don't lose anything. Am I giving up a part of my body or something physical that I have to give later on? No, I'm not losing anything. So there's no loss in what I'm believing in.
Well, and what you're saying, when I think, I'm not sure about your religion, but when I think about it with Christianity, there is a loss if you, let's say that it was true, let's say that there was a heaven and there was a hell. Yeah. And the Christians say that if you don't believe in God or if you sin, you are going to hell. So if you think about it, that is the law.
Yeah. I said, what do I believe in? Do I believe in a figure or a person or something? I believe in the Creator. Whatever that Creator is, that's what it is. So tell me one thing I do wrong that makes me qualified to go into hellfire. Do I do good deeds? Yes, I do good deeds. Am I staying away from bad things? Yes, I'm staying away from bad things. Am I obeying the person who created me? Yes, that's what I'm doing. What am I doing wrong that makes me not enter paradise?
That's the fault, though, because there are many denominations or subdivisions of Christianity, and they all believe different things. One, let's say the Pentecostal, I believe, they believe that women should wear skirts, but then the Methodists, they don't believe that. So for the Pentecostals, the Methodists are wrong, and for the Methodists, the Pentecostals are wrong. So that's where you stand, like, okay, what's right, what's wrong, then, you know? So am I going to hell? Am I going to heaven? Did I wear that skirt, and am I going to heaven because I did this and that, or am I going to hell because I didn't wear a skirt? You know what I mean?
Like I said before, let's start off with the major things. Then we'll get into, should I wear a skirt? Should I wear this? Should I wear that? Let's establish who is the God. Right? Did I say step by step by step? Why am I worried about the things that people at the top are barely understanding when I'm all the way at the bottom? Let me understand the things at the bottom first. Once I get to that level, I'm going to understand, okay, this is obviously right, or this is obviously not needed. That's my goal of today, is starting us at the foundation, starting us at zero. What did I say in the beginning? I said forget any connection you have with anyone. Start off from ground zero and build yourself up. If you want to start from ground zero and build yourself up on the things that you used to believe in, you can do that. Do legitimate research and legitimate searches and research and stuff like that. Go, okay, I believe in this book, I believe in this God. Let me research who is this God and what do I believe in, and let me really go down. Our problem is that we believe in something, however, we don't prove it. We don't research it. We just, that's it. My parents said it, so I have to be right. No. Let's look at what they say is true, and let me see if it really is true. And then once you find that, tell me what is more true than what I'm believing. And if that is the case, I'm not being cocky or anything. If you can prove that, then I'll be more than happy to convert or whatever it is to that other thing. However, this is the best, most logical, most scientific explanation.
Are there things of science that you don't agree with?
Besides evolution, that's it.
No, that's
There's other things that probably I'm not aware of right now, but the main thing that we discussed today is evolution, because evolution says what? That we were created from monkeys. That's obviously not how we were created. We were created from God in our form.
How would you explain the dinosaurs and the fossils and stuff like that?
Dinosaurs, if it is legitimate, if it is scientific or whatever, anything like that, first of all, it has no effect on my life. Second of all, it says in the book that I follow that they are beasts on this planet. Those beasts mean dinosaurs. Those beasts means the bears and the tigers. Now, what does it mean? Let's be honest, it doesn't really matter what it means. It can be that there was dinosaurs. However, that doesn't affect whether I'm going to paradise or heaven. Yes, it's something that maybe later on we can prove 100% yes or 100% no. However, the book that I'm believing neither denies nor 100% agrees with dinosaurs. It just says that there are beasts. There were beasts, or there's going to be beasts.
But it is evolution, though.
How? No, we didn't come from dinosaurs.
But it is evolution because birds and animals that we have now might have came from those.
Might have.
Evolution is not just humans. Evolution is more than that.
Okay,
It's not just us.
anything that's not human, a bird to a pigeon, a bird to what's else, any change of species, evolution, bring it to me, please. I want to see that.
Crocodiles.
There are many animals, reptiles.
Okay, anything that I
From-
can see legitimate scientific research or observations that this transformed to this. And like I said before, Darwin says that this turned into this is the bird that he was on the island studying. That didn't change from species. That changed from something with a pointy beak to something with a curved beak. Let's be honest. That's not something that I'm going to put my risk in, whether I'm going to paradise or heaven. And even if I do believe in God and I do deny evolution, what is me denying evolution going to do for me? Is that going to put me in hellfire? No, that's it. If evolution is true, then that means there is no afterlife. There is no God. There is no almighty being. That's what it means.
That could be both.
No, because God, even in Christianity and everything, it says that we were created from man. That man is Adam. And we'll go into that later on. Like I said, we're not going to get into specifics. However, we believe in any religion that we did not come from monkeys. We came from a man. Who God created this man, and we came from this man and his wife. Did you have a hand up? Anything else anyone have to say? If anyone else has something to say but they're shy to say it, I will put my email address on the board and just get another marker. And you can email. I'll check my email right now if you're scared to say your opinion. Yeah.
So in the Quran, what is different from? Well, let me say it like this: what is the major differences between the Muslim faith and the Christian faith,
Okay.
and what are the similarities?
The similarities that we believe in one God, has no partners. That's the similarity. I'm not saying that the religion of the Quran, the religion that I believe in, is something new. No, it's something that was the beginning of man that people have deviated from. It's believe in one God without any partnership, without any association, and worship Him. What is the similarities? Yes, I believe in Jesus. I believe that He was born from the Virgin Mary. I believe that He brought life to the dead. I believe that He blew into a bird and became to life. I believe in all that. However, that's with the permission of God. The same way Moses split the Red Sea is the same way Jesus brought life to the dead. The same way the other miracles, how Noah built the ark and these type of things, they're just all miracles done by the will of God. So what's the differences? The only difference of today's Bible and today's Christianity and today's Muslim is that we said they can't have a son or any partnership. However, the Christianity and the churches today are saying that Jesus is God and He's a part of the Trinity and He's the Son, the Holy Ghost, and God, and this, that. Even though in the Bible never did it say specifically and without any room for interpretation, I am God, or worship me, or Jesus is God, or anything like that. There's nothing like that. However, everything you see in the Bible is worship the Father. Jesus says in the Bible, and I have the source, that I cast out the devil. I think that I have the source exactly, the exact quote, but I'm just paraphrasing, that I do this and I do that only with the permission of God. Even the one verse that people say, okay, this is the proof of why Jesus is God, or He's whatever it is John 3:16, where it says, so God loveth the world so much that He gave Jesus His only begotten Son, and this is that. Or even if you look at this one verse that people cherry pick all the time, if you go back to the Christian scholars, they say that this word begotten, and this is in the Revised Standard Version, or the Revised International Version, whatever it is, because there's so many versions I can't remember the name. It says that this word begotten was actually added in. 32 of the highest Christian scholars say that this word begotten was added in. So let's say we take it out. What does it say now? Jesus is the Son of God. Okay, Ahmad, that sounds pretty logical. Also says in the Bible, in Matthew chapter 1, verse 1, that Jesus is the son of David and he's the son of Abraham. Does that mean Abraham or David is God? No, it doesn't. So what's the difference? Son in the terms of the Bible, in the language of the Bible, does not mean son, begotten son. It means the follower of someone. For example, you'll find many times when you're on the bus or you're walking out or anything like that, some old man or some old lady will call you, oh son, or oh auntie, or all this, or whatever this. Because it doesn't mean begotten or you're related to me. This means, to follow you or to show respect to you. That's what I call you. That's the language of the Bible. So by just taking out the word begotten, you see clearly that, oh, I'm trapped. Yes?
What do you think of the religion Buddhism that doesn't see the sacred as a person or a being? It sees it as a state of something that they want to attain. It's not like I don't know how to explain it, like nirvana.
I understand 100% what you're saying.
Peace, enlightenment, and stuff like that.
I can say one thing about that because I'm not 100% sure on what Buddhism is or what they study. However, I can tell you this one thing. Just because something makes me feel good doesn't mean it's true. Some people like killing and that makes them feel good. Does that mean that's good? Does that mean that's true? Of course it doesn't. So just by me having a feeling towards something doesn't mean anything. There has to be, yes, some sort of feeling, some sort of connection. However, it has to be logical, it has to be to the point. By me saying, oh yeah, I feel good when I do this or I believe in Buddhism, what does that mean? There was a film that was called, if I remember the name only, it was a thing that we watched in religion class. That there was, can't remember the name. That he was pretending to be a Buddhist preacher, or Buddhist, whatever it is. And he was going around saying all of these made up things. And people were like, oh my God, he helped me so much. Oh my God, this, oh my God, that, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. And at the end of the movie, he said, shaved off his beard that he grew for like 2 years. He's like, yo, everything I said was lost. It was all false. Everything I said was all fake. How do you feel now? I'm like, oh, damn, my heart tricked me. So not just because something makes me feel good doesn't mean that makes it true. Doesn't mean something I should rely on. It should make me feel good. However, it should be some logic behind it, some truth behind it.
There is logic. For them, for Buddhists, there is logic behind Buddhism. That's why they believe in it. See, that can apply to every religion, though.
Yeah, but like I said before, there's some things that I can say, which like I said before, I'm not 100% sure on what Buddhism is, so I can say what it is and why is it. I'm not out here saying everything is wrong. Just saying that this is my take on things. I've researched this and researched that, and the research I'm conducting from things that have nothing to do with religion is supporting the thing that I believe. That's my thing. Like the only thing I know about 100% Buddhist, like people say, oh, you have to be kind, you have to be this, you have to be that, because it makes you have inner peace, then inner peace is success, and this and that. I'm saying, just because it's a feeling doesn't mean anything.
The movie was called Kumar.
Yes. That's the movie. If anyone wants to watch it, it's a good movie. It has some great lessons in it. Anyone else? Wait till I connect to Wi-Fi, see if anyone sent me any emails. Other than that, yes.
When you were talking about Jesus before, so like what I got out of that, correct me if I'm wrong, what I got out of that was that you were saying that Jesus is not the Son of God, he's just a follower.
He's a prophet of God.
A prophet.
Yes.
Like what do you really mean?
Like like I believe that Jesus, he's one of the greatest men that ever walked. He's the prophet, the messenger of God. One of a few that were the messenger of God. He was born from the Virgin Mary, and the Virgin Mary was someone who was a very high character, very good morals and stuff like that. Yes, he did. He used to bring life to the dead and all these miracles. But I'm saying these miracles were just by the permission of God. The same way Moses split the Red Sea. Can anyone say, oh yeah, Moses split the Red Sea, so he's God, that's why I believe in him? No, because we know that's just from God. Same way with Jesus. If anything, I see that I believe in Jesus and I respect Jesus more than the people who claim that he is God. Why? Because it says in the Bible, it says in again, I have the sources here, that wine is a mocker. Do not take it as whatever. And you have people who say they believe in Jesus doing that, drinking wine. Also says in the Bible that pork is forbidden. Again, I have the source for that. Who eats pork? The Christians or the Muslims? I'm not calling anyone out, I'm just saying what it is. And it says in the Bible that the woman must cover their head. And if they don't cover their head, they should shave it. And if they shouldn't shave it, if it's a shame for them, then just cover their head. Who covers their head? If you go by Christian history, If right now none of us knew who the Virgin Mary was and she was walking on the street, what would you think she was? Would you think she was Christian or was she Muslim? What would you think? She was Muslim. She was covering her head. Who covers their head today? The Muslims cover their head. That's why I believe in Jesus. In the same way I believe in Jesus, same way I believe in Adam. Just because someone didn't have a dad doesn't make him God. Because Adam didn't have a mom or dad. However, I don't believe he's God. Yes? You have anything else?
I mean, just to correct what you said about covering the head, it says that when you pray or prophesy,
What is it?
in the Bible.
What does it say?
It says that when you pray, when you prophesy, when you're in a holy place,
Yeah.
God. In the Bible.
That's in the Old Testament. That's the thing.
Okay, I'm gonna write down the source and you tell me what it says.
You said it was the Old Testament that said that?
Some people, some subdivisions of Christianity believe more in the Old Testament and then some in the New one. So that, like covering your head and stuff like that, that was more in the Old Testament. And all the slavery and all that, that was more in the Old Testament. That's why some other religions just don't really think about it. Because that was in the old one, not the new one.
Check out that source and tell me what it says. And then, I was going to say, for the sources on pork and alcohol, if anyone wants that, I can also provide that. And the only difference between another difference of Christianity, which has just come to my mind right now, is that they don't believe that there was a prophet after Jesus. They just believe that Muhammad, or who the Muslims claim to be the prophet, is not a prophet. He's just the man that made up the religion. And I can provide many evidence that it's impossible for him to create the religion. One, because he revealed the Quran, and the Quran has miracles and signs and stuff like that that cannot be proven by any single person. Also, because there's actual prophecies of Prophet Muhammad in the Bible, and I'll put down those sources, which I want you to research. I'm not going to tell you anything about them. You research them through legitimate sources. Don't go to answeringchristianity.com or Yahoo Answers and tell me this is what it says. Go to the source, go to the books, go to the scholars, go to the people of knowledge, and tell me what they say. Again, I'm not cocky or anything like that. It's just something that I'm very passionate about, something that I take very seriously. I'm not going to say that, okay, if you want to research this, research it in the original language of Aramaic, because that's not there. You only can research in English, which shows you that translation can play a part. For example, some of the words that's used in these verses, you're going to have to see the original language, because you cannot translate a noun. Can I translate my name? Yes, I can say what my name means. However, if I go to Germany or whatever, they can't say, okay, your name's not Ahmad anymore, it's this. No, you can't translate proper nouns. In one of these verses, you'll see the name actually, if I'm spelling it 100% right, it says when it's mentioned this, and you probably heard of this verse, it's called the Comforter shall come. And this Comforter actually comes, they translated the word Comforter from this word, which is Muhammadin. Tell me what that sounds like, and then let me know. You can't take something that's been a translation, you have to take the original source. If you have a problem finding the original source, that's not my problem, that's your problem, that's something you believe in. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect anything, but that's the evidence, that's the proof, that's things that we need to reflect on. The truth sometimes hurts. However, what does Jesus say in the Bible? What does the truth do to you? Can you speak up?
Well, the truth sets you free.
The truth sets you free.
So
I was testing you guys. Oh, you guys tell me you're Christian. This. You guys don't even know what he says. Okay. Anyone has anything else to say? Yes.
Do you believe that with religion and spirituality is a very important part of just religion? Like just following a set of rules that you know what you're following?
No, you have to know what you follow. Actually, there's a couple of verses in the Quran where it says, do they not reflect? Do they not think? Do they not ponder? It's questioning you. Would you ever find a book telling you, question this book, try to prove this book wrong? You will never find that. If I write an essay, I'm not going to tell my teacher, oh yeah, this is what I say, but I think I might be wrong. You'll get an F right away. However, the Quran is telling you, yeah, challenge this book. Tell me, find something better, as it says. If you don't believe in this book, bring something like it. Bring something better to it. Bring something equal to it. You cannot. So yes, it's not just based on, oh yeah, this facts is it. No, I have to see the spirituality. I have to believe in spirituality. How can I do that? Prove it wrong. Bring something better than it. Bring something equal to it. Like I said before, don't be biased in your research. If you're watching Christian debaters saying this is that, they have a way with words that might trick you. Look at both sides of the story. If anyone was, I don't know, if anyone wanted to be partnership in this with me, I would have been more than happy to. However, there wasn't nobody that wanted to engage in this conversation with me. So, what else? Well, I got lost. Anyone else have anything else to say? If not, I'm just going to recap very quick what we all said today so you guys have an understanding. And once again, like I said before, everything's going to be uploaded. So they're like, oh yeah, Ahmad, you said this. No, I didn't. Go check the tape. I didn't say that. You got the proof. You got the evidence. I'm not going to edit nothing. I'm not going to add nothing in. I'm not going to take something out. I'm just going to edit it raw, upload it raw. With just like a little intro in the beginning. If that's being said, if no one else has anything else to say, recap really quick of what I said, and then we can conclude. Told you guys, if we ask ourselves without any connection or anything like that, we're going to ask ourselves, where do we come from? Where do we come from? Where did the universe come from? There's only 4 possibilities. What are these 4 possibilities? 1, we came from nothing. We said that's false. 2, we said what? We can come, or we created ourselves, or the universe created itself. We also proved that false. If you want to know why it's false, check up on the video. If I'll repeat it again, I might get lost in time and we might be here till whatever time. Third possibility, we came from something that was also created. False. 4th possibility, we came from something that was uncreated. True. What is this uncreated being? It's Allah. Does science or philosophy or math or anything contradict this? No, it actually supports it. Why is Allah God? Because He fits into the categories, the guidelines, the rules that we have proved today based on our basic understanding. And finally, no, that's it. So yeah, once again, if you have anything else to say, you can talk to me. If you want to talk to me privately, through email. After you watch the video on YouTube, you can, really dive into it and really understand what I'm saying. You can also do that as well. If that's all it is, everyone's free to have another snack. We have a lot. And have a nice day. I thank you guys all for coming.